Hi everyone, this is Samantha with Diamond Painting with Samantha. Welcome. We're doing True Love by Diamond Art Club today. We're going to start a whole new section. This pen is from Star Or, their single placer. And then I'm using Diamond Art Club's 4-placer. It's thinner than the one that came with the pen. Using Tray by 4 Kids at 147, also known as Add More Zest now. We're going to go ahead and start with the down arrow, number 13 color. How is everyone? Hope everyone's doing good. I'm still figuring out the whole YouTube. Figure out how I'm going to record. Today is August 13th, Friday. I have just figured out how to multi-place, I would say 3 days ago. Before that, I did single placing only. So something like this. Well, it took me a while to do a couple rows. Now that I figured out the best way to place, makes it awesome. Here we go. So that's why in the past, maybe with my big orders, I might have been a little bit lazy about it, just because it's, when you have, 25 diamond paintings to go with every single one, it does take some time. Oh! Ignore the background noise. I finally did it. I've been telling myself I wanted to do it just probably for as long as I've been diamond painting. I've been telling myself I wanted to. I just have some background noise while I'm diamond painting. To let you know more about me. I'm 31 years old. I have a fiance who supports me with my diamond painting. It's a new hobby for me. I started diamond painting in March. Just happened to pick up a partial by Diamond Dots. It was the White Tiger Roly Poly, I believe is what it's called. Ignore my washi tape. I got washi tape from Hobby Lobby, and I guess it's not the best because it curls up all the time. But I decided to order myself a mystery kit. Because why not, right? Why not give it a try? Oh man, I didn't put down right. And it disappeared. I lost a diamond. Oh no. Back to what I was saying. My fiance supports me. We have a little baby boy who just turned 1 on the 31st. It was a rough ride with him. We found out in 2020 of February that he had gastrostesis. For the people who don't know what gastrostesis is, it's a condition where the stomach has a hole in it where it didn't fully close. They do not know what causes this. It's very common. About 1,900 babies are born with this condition every year in the U.S. What they do is they keep an eye on the baby, so you have a lot more ultrasounds and appointments. And then towards the end of the pregnancy, you talk to a surgeon. They tell you what's most likely to happen. It can range from just how much of the baby. We got lucky. Robbie, my little baby boy, when he was born, his belly didn't shrink. Most babies with these conditions, bellies shrink into their chest cavity. So it takes a little bit longer for their for them to push the back. They have surgeons have two options on how to repair this. From what they told me, they'll take a stylo. They'll put, when they're born, intestines get put in a bag, and basically they will hang it up and use gravity to slowly push the intestines back in. And once they'll do this over a period of days. Due to the baby and what they can tolerate, depends how fast they push it in. Robbie luckily had his stomach wasn't shrunk into his cavity, so he got his pushed back in 6 days. Now, he was in the NICU for almost 2 months, but majority of the time wasn't actually pushing it back in. When you mess with intestines, from what the doctors told us, they get finicky. They're very touchy, and they take a while to want to work. So during this time, Robbie had a PICC line that gave him all his fluids, all his nutrition. I was able to give him colostrum for my breastfeeding, so he was fed colostrum when he was first born. But once I stopped producing colostrum, I pumped exclusively while he was in the NICU, which it was very hard because due to some car issues, we weren't able to go and see him every day. I would go 2-3 times as much as I could, having someone take me in and then come and then staying all day on Fridays. So basically, I would spend as much time as I could there when I was able to. And it looks like we're done with that color. Why don't we go ahead and do this T symbol? This is this symbol. So while I was there, I would pump while I was there, and I could store. It got to the point where I pumped more than what the hospital could store, so we start freezing it at home as much as we could. And we had a lot of back and forth. They basically put a tube down up his nose into his belly while we were waiting for the intestines to start working. Once that, it was called a Rapogo. The Rapogo basically, the PICC line was doing the inputs, the Rapogo would be the outputs, and as long as the output wasn't clear, it was green, we wouldn't be able to do feedings. By week 3, we attempted to do breastfeeding, the whole latching. He did fine. When we left that night, we were told the next day that we actually went back. So a lot of times what will happen is the doctors will do trial and error, and it turned out this was an error. He wasn't yet ready for feedings yet. So we had to wait. It took him a little bit longer to get off the Rapogo again. So he didn't start feeding until about a week before he came home. He was about 7 weeks old by then. He came home when he was 7 weeks old. So I say about 6 weeks, we started the feeds again. We did bottle this time because I couldn't get a ride out there. at the time to start the next set of feedings. At that point, I just wanted him to start eating. To me, it did not matter. As long as he could start eating, I knew the sooner he started eating, the sooner he would come home. I know some people are against circumcising your baby boy. My boy is circumcised. I believe that little boys tend to be messy, so they don't always clean everything. So I rather do it before he came home. I know a lot of people are against the whole circumcising, taking the choice away from the boy. I just figured when he is old enough to do that choice, it might be too painful for him to do it. But due to gastroschisis, we were just trying to make anything future a little easier on him. Because he had gastroschisis when he was born, he is a very gassy baby. I wind up having to go back to work for a short period. As soon as he came home, when I had started to look for a job to go back to work, after I was healed and able to, is when we found out he was coming home. If I had known that, I would have just waited. But I didn't know at the time. So once he came home, I wound up starting to dry up. I did not know about power pumping. There was a lot of things about breastfeeding I didn't know. I had one or two people who just had their babies and who were pregnant about to have their babies, so I didn't know about all the things. I tried to talk to them. I found out with pumps, if you don't have the correct flange, that it can reduce your supply as well. I tried making homemade cookies. I tried hydrating as much as I could, but with working and trying to pump, I just couldn't find the right knack, and then I started to dry up. So I was producing less than what I could give them, even though I had some breast milk in storage. I wound up feeding it all to him, and then we wound up trying formula. We had to go to formula. The hospital had recommended if we went to formula to try Similac Advance. Some people had given me some from, they had given me a couple different kinds. He did real well on the Pro Advance. Sadly, we couldn't afford it, so we had WIC help, and WIC does not pay for that certain one. So Advance caused too much gas pains, so we tried Sensitive. Sensitive was pretty much about the same. So when we saw his GI for the first time, she recommended going with Similac Augmentum. It worked the best, least amount of gas. Once he got used to it, we didn't have to use gas drops or gripe water as much. I started using that due to it helped release some of his gas until he could figure out how to push it out a little bit more. He learned pretty quickly. By the time he was 3 months old, we didn't have to use it nearly as much. And by the time he was 6 months old, I completely stopped using it. I kept it on hand. Right now, we are weaning him off the formula. Oops, I'm so sorry about that. I missed some of these, so I'm going to go back and finish them over in this area. So when he... So once he's fully off formula, we will be doing milks. I have struggled with getting him his meals, getting him 3 times a meals, but we're working on it. For the most part, he eats everything. But we started baby food feeding him at 5 months. He was showing pediatrician said he was ready for it. He was showing all the signs for it. So we did it a month prior to what WIP recommends. I know a lot of people recommend starting at 6 months, but as far as feeding, he was a little bit delayed due to the bottle feeding starting so late, since he was almost 2 months old. So that put him behind in that. But he started teething at 3 months, like just straight up drool consistently. He pretty much was teething for like 4 months before a tooth decided to pop through. So he showed interest in food. We started out small, with the baby, the purees. So I went with this company, Yummy. YUMI. Just so you know, they're not no sponsor, no nothing. I did really like them. The only reason we stopped is because we couldn't afford to keep up with their prices. But they were very good. They gave textures and stuff that based on the baby's age range. They give you different types due to his age range. So they're a very, very good company. I still have a few in my freezer I have to use. You can deep freeze up to 6 months. Going, there are little dessert ones that are great for him. He and there's only one or two things we found that he's picky with eating. Other than that, you're eating it, he wants to eat it. It's just the way it is with him. If he sees you eating, he's curious about it. There's only one or two things that he's not cared for too much. For the most part, as far as his belly's healed just fine. Doctors really like the look of how his belly looks, how he's progressing. He's gotten very big. When he was born, he was 7 pounds, 5 ounces, and 19 and a half inches long. Last doctor's appointment was when he was 9 months. We're due to his 1-year checkup on Monday. Last time he was checked, he was 23 pounds. And he's been in the 90 percentile for everything. So even though he started out a little on smaller, the average size, he shot up. He looks like he's going to be a tall boy. But we did his first birthday, Baby Yoda theme. He has not shown much interest into anything, so I selected something that I thought would be cute and it'd be original. I know all my next birthdays, he's going to be probably into something more than another, so it'll be easier to do that. We haven't quite decided what we want to dress him up as Halloween. If anybody has ideas, I will appreciate them because I got to start thinking about Halloween. It's not very far away. And then it's going to be Christmas sooner than I know. So, anybody has mommy tricks, I'm more than welcome. I will appreciate any pointers. He is my first. Look, I just messed up all those. Now I gotta push them to the right spot. I love pointers. Now, if I don't see if it works for our family, I won't use them. But I'm always willing to try stuff. I diamond paint, and right now he's down for a nap, so it's the perfect time for me to diamond paint, record a video, try to get in the habit of doing stuff. For the most part, he does very well. He's sitting there up, walking around, getting into things he's not supposed to be getting into, pulling things up. He's being a normal boy, getting into things, driving me up the wall. I love him, but sometimes He driving me up the wall too many times in one day. What about you guys? Any of y'all mommies have kids? Be awesome. Is there a particular diamond company y'all like? I like Diamond Art Club. I like their stuff. Yes, they're a little on the expensive side. For other ones, I will order from Amazon. I ordered them the other day from Star Order. I got a couple of special diamond kits, the special shapes. They're my first. I haven't done them yet. I will try to do them with you on the channel. I will try. I figure I'd start with a small one. I haven't done a small one in a while. My last biggest one I've done so far is 40 by 30. I haven't done anything too much bigger. The last one I did was I believe it was the Diamond Dots Starry Night by Van Gogh. That's the biggest one actually I think I've done. I think that one's more like it's at 30 by 50, which I would say I would not do that one again. My thing with that, there was so much confetti. For people who don't know about confetti, it's basically a lot of color changing. This is considered more like color blocking. So it was like this right here. That was more or less what it was. It was like every 4 or 5 beads, I had to change colors, and I had to change it again. And it took me forever. It took me about 3 weeks to finish that one. And it turns out I'm going to actually be gifting it to my sister-in-law. She told me she painted it back in high school, and she would love to have it. So right now, it's sitting in my portfolio file with all my other ones that are undone, that I finished, that haven't yet gotten around to framing. So it's going to sit there until I can get some money aside and frame it. For most part, it not too bad. Just sitting there trying to figure out the best way on how I'm going to do things. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting to get some frames, I will be doing some. I have quite a bit of a stash. I will do a video about what's in my current stash and bring it out. A lot of it is from Amazon. I have one customized from Amazon that I might be tweaking because there's a part that was a little bit blurry on it. I'll definitely share that to you. So I got quite a few video ideas. If there's something you wish to see, I will try my best to see if I can get it, and we'll test it out and see what we can do. I got a couple pins. I only had, other than like pins like this that come from like Diamond Art Club or the famous pink pins. I have quite a few of those. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. I'll see if there's something I can do with them. Just trying to figure out the best way to do things. If anybody wants to sit there and give me some ideas, I'm more than welcome the ideas. Alright, let's go ahead and do another color before I get completely off track. So we're going to do this one, E. It's little outlines throughout it, so it's not too bad. And I could do a couple unboxings on my new paint, anything new that comes in. I can do some of that. I got quite a few ideas of what I can do. Okay, I guess it's time to add some wax to the tip of my single placer. What I use also, this is a light pad I got off of Amazon. I believe it was like 40 bucks. I think this is the A4. For the most part, it fits majority of them. The only one I think is anything above 50 centimeters. Pretty much I had to roll it to work with it because I'm set up at my kitchen table, and it's not a big kitchen table, so for the most part, I take up quite a bit of space with between the pad and the painting and my storage container, anything else I have on the table. Normally I can always make room. I usually move it when I'm not doing it. These release papers I also got from 4Kids at 147. They have recently changed their name to add more zest. So I got this tray and release papers right before they released that they were changing their company name because they're getting so much bigger now. I love that she does all these WIP chats. She did quite a few events. Summer with the Masters is ending. That's why I had the Van Gogh piece. I used the Van Gogh piece to participate in that event. I believe they're ending it within the next few days. That they're announcing their grand prize winner. I know there's that. I really enjoyed being in the event and watching all their videos. It was very informative with their videos between Diamonds at Washi and Tiny Worlds of Wonder. Couple other favorite YouTubers I like to follow: Crocheting with Miss Coffee, Stitcherisa, Ruby Q. They're all my favorite. I do try to keep up on their videos. I've been slowly trying to watch other people, but for the most part, I tend to watch or go and watch some of their older videos because I am kind of new to their channels. Once I started on the first diamond painting, I kind of was addicted. I started ordering and ordering. I'm trying now to limit how many I order. My wish list is so long between different companies. I got a few on my Etsy wish list. I got some still in my Amazon wish list. But the new event I'm trying to plan on being a part of is Chills with Drills that Diamond Washi and Tiny Worlds of Wondering, Tiny Worlds of Wonder are hosting. Where am I gonna put this? Well, I guess I'll go over here since I have all four. Since they're hosting that, I ordered way too many. There's smaller paintings. I think the biggest one I got was the 30 by 40. I got a couple Harry Potter themed ones. I got some kitty cats and pumpkin ones. I do want to order some Rainbow Spangler from Diamond Art Club, but right now I can't really afford it, so they're kind of on my wish list. I love Diamond Art Clubs, not just because their canvases are soft or that their stuff is beautiful, but their images on there are so beautiful that I'm always going on there every week checking to see new ones. took me, I got the Spirit of Flight by Josephine Wall. Took me on their third restock. I finally got it. I missed out on it on the first when they first released it, and then when I got the notification that it was in stock, I logged on too late. They were already sold out that quick. I found out later that it was literally sold out in minutes of it coming off back. Once they notified people it was back in stock. So that's why it took me 3 times. If you have watched Diamond and Washi, she is doing a comparison video on that painting, which is why I wanted it so bad. I loved it. I've seen the difference between Deutschland and Diamond Art Club's rendering. Theirs isn't too bad. But I do kind of like Diamond Art Club's better. Now, I wish it has extreme detail, which is nice. And then I noticed on it that Deutschland is more of the watercolors, so they have like 200 plus colors. I don't know how Diamond Washi is doing 200 plus colors. I wouldn't be able to keep all this symbols straight. Doing 30 colors is hard. So when I actually do get around to doing Spirit of Flight, it's 60 something colors. I'm going to probably have a hard time keeping the symbol straight. I'm pretty sure I will. Just because I haven't really done too many. This is my 11th painting. I first recorded one that I'm doing as a paint with me. So once, yeah, so I haven't done a paint with me just yet. This is the first time I'm doing a video with it. If there's something you have questions or you have any issues with my video, please let me know. Definitely comment. Or if you can, subscribe, please. Like. If you do dislike this video, please just let me know in the comments very nicely. Just because I'm starting out, and if there's something you see that I could work on, I will appreciate any advice when it comes to that. Um, so once that is, I would love for any feedback because streaming is new to me. I just quit my job recently because we're having some childcare issues. We can't afford daycare. It's just not in our price. My fiance just got a really good paying job where he said I might not have to go back to work, which would be awesome because then I can spend time with my son and be home with him and make sure I know what he's eating and take away all the stress of that trying to figure it out. And then by the time I get off, when I used to have to leave him, as soon as I pick him up, he would not let me put him down. He would be attached to me. Now, my fiance will tell you, he is a mama's boy. He's not an extreme mama's boy. I think he misses both of us. So when he sees one more than the other, he gravitates to the other as soon as he sees them. He does love his cuddles. He is a very cuddly boy, especially when he doesn't feel good or when he's getting cranky. He's not super bad. He has his moments. yesterday, he one thing that we're hoping he learns is to watch where he's walking, because he trips all over the place. He did just learn how to walk right after he turned 11 months old. So I know he's got time to figure it out, but yesterday he's got a bump on his head right now. He was by his walker, which was next to the kitchen table, and he stepped on his bottle that was on the floor. He stepped on it. We keep telling him not to stand on it, but boys will be boys. He's hard headed. So what happened was, as soon as he stepped on it, he slipped off of it. Head hit the corner of our table leg. So yesterday it was welted, a little bit bruised, not anything major, but definitely was a cranky boy for the rest of the day. So, and then he wasn't. It's pretty good today. He's been a little bit bad, ornery, normal. I would say it's pretty normal. Okay, we're going to go with this. This is number 1. Diamond Art Clubs put their ABs as numbers. So they're usually at the top of the list now. I know it used to be hidden. For those people who are new to diamond painting and don't know what AB is, it stands for Aurora Borealis. So basically, it's compared to these are regular. If you look down here, that didn't work. Let me try again. Excuse all the shaking. Okay. So if you look right here, you see where it's super, super shiny. That there's a coating. That Aurora Borealis, that's a coating that's on the diamonds, so it makes it more shiny, and it makes the other diamonds around it shine more. Light hits it, and it just makes it even more remarkable. So we're gonna do number 1 now. What was I saying? So those who don't have kids, I'm telling you, mom brain is a thing. For sure. I get it. All the time. I'll go to try to do something. I'll go to the store and say, oh, I remember what that is. Nope. No, I don't. I try. For the most part, I try to remember things. I try my best to remember things. I tend to have an issue with trying to remember them. It's hard some days, because I'll go to the store and I'll be like, oh, what was it? What was it? And then I'll get home and then I remember. I was like, oh, I couldn't remember in the store, could I? Nope, I couldn't remember while I was in the store. Not at all. It would have been nice if I could remember it in the store. Alright, looks like that's all that there is for number 1 in this section. So it's a thing. I used to be just slightly forgetful before I had my baby boy, and after I've had him, it is definitely worse. It used to not always be so bad. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do this backsplash. Here, let me see if I can zoom you back out a little bit. Oh, no, that's too much. That should be better. Um, so I used to be slightly forgetful. Now that I have to remember twice as much things when we go out, like do I have enough diapers? Do I have enough food? Do we have snacks? That I tend to wind up forgetting about the basic things. Where's my wallet? Where's my phone? Where are the keys? Oh, where did the kid put the keys? Because my son loves he wants the phone, or he wants the game controller, or the remote, or he wants the keys. But you get an empty box and you put it near him. Hey, it's all about that empty box. We got all these toys, and he wants to play with that. Now, it's been slowly getting him used to actual toys lately, but it's not been terrible. Um, for the most part, um, I pretty much, other than diamond painting, um, I'm pretty much all about my kid right now. Um, other than my fiance, um, he is awesome. Um, now he doesn't have a whole lot of patience. He is trying. Some days are better than others for him. Um, which is why he is the one doing the working and me stay home. So I have a little bit more patience with the kids. When I was younger, I helped raise my baby sister. We're going to go ahead and switch over to this symbol. I helped raise her, so I kind of have an idea of what is needed. Now, I don't remember a whole lot. I do remember growing up, she used to streak through the house, stuff like that, like small things, not like big memories. I helped watch her when mom was at work, but other than making sure she stayed all the things she wasn't supposed to be in, I didn't do a whole lot. Other than making sure she ate and stuff like that. I was a teenager. I was in middle school when it first started. I was in high school. I wound up moving out from under my mom when I was about 16. I stayed with a friend for about a year, and then my grandparents took me in. Love them. With this whole COVID thing happening, I was really worried about something happening to them. They had their COVID vaccine now, so I don't have to worry as much. But I found out recently that my grandmother eyesight is deteriorating even more. Unless you're like right up in her face, she sees you as a blur. She has cataracts real bad. So right now she gets shots in her eyes, which those don't seem to be working like they used to. So eventually she will lose her eyesight, which is very sad. So she can't really see my son like you would think. But we do try to go see them when we can, when we're in the area. They're about a 3.5 hour drive from us. Any other West Virginians in the area, let me know. I'm not originally from West Virginia, but I do live up here. It's not. I've been up here for 3 years now. It's home for now. When I say I go back home, I mean Salisbury, Maryland area. If anybody is from the Eastern Shore, you know where I'm talking. So anytime we go down to see my grandparents, we try to go to the beach. Last time we tried, it was very crowded. It was very hard. Ocean City has a lot of summer traffic. A lot. So when we went at the wrong time when we tried to go to the beach last time. So we wind up having to nix the idea and said, well, if we come back this summer, we'll just try to hit the beach then. All right, we're gonna move on to the other green in this. Um, so it's not terribly bad. Um, Robbie loves the water, loves it. He is definitely my kid. Um, I'm a Pisces, but I love the water. I grew up around the water. I grew up around the beach, so I always loved the beach. Sadly, my fiance, he's ginger, so he burns very easily. He loves the water though. Don't get me wrong. He loves going to the beach. That's his number one goal every time we go down. Is hey, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. Let's make sure we go to the beach while we can. Because up in West Virginia, in my area, we have rivers. So there's not a whole lot of beach. So it's a little bit harder for us to go to water other than going to the pool. Which is my plan for today, is to take my son to the pool this evening where the sun's not out too much. My son did get my fiance's skin. He's a ginger. He was born with the red hair. When I was born, I had strawberry blonde hair, so there wasn't a whole lot of red. I have some. If I'm out in the sun a lot, it shows up. But for the most part, I lost my brunette, took over. So, which I don't care for how dark my hair gets. So you will, if you do see face to face, you will see me with lighter hair. And if my hair is getting dark, you see roots coming in. Don't worry about it. I grow my hair out. It basically turns into an ombre effect. Nobody knows. But I don't dye my hair a lot. I'm not a big person on keeping up with it. Just because now that I have someone to take care of it. Before I didn't. I figured bleaching my hair too many times can lead to damaging it. So I didn't want to damage it. For the most part, I have dry scalp. So I go into my hair salon every once in a while to go get a deep treatment. It helps with the itching, helps with the dryness. So about every month or two, I'll go in, and when I go in, I get it trimmed. It's not that I don't take care of my hair. It's just I choose not to bleach it or color it all the time. Now, if I do get in the spots where I want something different, about right before in 2019, before I found out I was pregnant, that summer I was the first time I seriously bleached my hair. Now, I've done light bleaching. I've not done anything like super heavy. I'm dyeing my hair kind of light, more like say a dirty blonde. It's pretty a little bit lighter than that is the most I've gotten it light, other than highlights. Other than that, so I went blue. It was basically a blue with some dark turquoise highlights throughout it. I had it for a month. And then the blue started fading out because if anybody's ever dyed your hair, you know blue is a temporary color. Unless you color it and you keep up on that color and keep it that color, it basically washes out. I loved it. Though when I looked in the mirror, it was different because I went completely different at that point. So I did that. It was about a month, 6 weeks, and then I went and got it colored. This was right around Halloween. If anybody knows Borderlands, I was Mad Moxie. So I went red. And so I went red. So it, and I kept that color for a good while. When I first found out I was pregnant, I just let it grow out. And then once I was far enough along that it wasn't a big worry about dyeing my hair, and I found some safe dye that I could dye while I was pregnant because it was color. It wasn't bleach. I wasn't bleaching. I was coloring. So I just added more red, and this one was more of a permanent red. The first red I got was more of a kind of semi-permanent. Red was still there. It had dulled out. So I basically just went ahead and did that. Since then, I only recently colored my hair. Since then, I think since Robbie's been born, I've colored it one other time with red. And that one was more of a strawberry red. So for the most part, let's do this one, number 12. For the most part, I haven't really colored my hair much until recently. But this last time, I've had shoulder length. I've had like below my shoulder blades length hair for a really long time. It's kind of the style I've gone with. Recently, I cut it off. I went with this shag cut where it's kind of short in the back. It's kind of like a bob, but it's more like shag. So it has deep layers in it. And my hair, when it's a little shorter, curls a little bit more. I have wavy curly hair, so I don't have like the super springy curls. I just have a little bit of wave in it. So when my hair is shorter, it tends to curl a little bit more. So naturally I have it, but it only naturally curls when it's out of the shower. And then after a day, it kind of, the oils in my hair just weigh it down so it gets a little bit more straighter. So it kind of stinks when it comes to that. But for the most part, it's really awesome. And the haircut's working for me. It really stinks on the hot days. Like the really hot days, like yesterday was 99 degrees. I don't know where all this heat came from, but it needs to go away. I like being comfortable. I don't mind heat like in the 80s, but when it hits the 90s, nah, I'm done. I'm done with the summer at that point. I'm ready for some fall time. I love the fall season. I love hoodie weather. It's my favorite time of year because then you can do bonfires, and then you're almost ready for a hot cocoa. I love pumpkin pie. I do like pumpkin spice. I prefer Starbucks. If I go somewhere for pumpkin spice latte, it is Starbucks. Every time I've gone to Dunkin', I tend to have. I can't handle regular milk anymore, so I usually have to resort to almond milk or soy, which is why I always migrated to Starbucks, because for the longest time, Dunkin' did not have it. I basically have IBS. It's irritated bowel syndrome. My primary pretty much said that she's not sending me to a specialist due to I've modified my diet. I'm not in pain too often like I used to be when I didn't before I modified it. I modified it to reduce the pain and the sudden having to run to the bathroom. If anybody has IBS or has family member knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's for me is extreme stomach pain. It's worse than cramps, and all of a sudden I feel like I have to go, and I don't have time. So if I'm out on the road, I have to find, as soon as I get that feeling, I have to start looking for a gas station somewhere with a bathroom. And with a kid, it's a little bit harder. I do not have the luxury of holding it when it's bad. If it's a really bad one, if it hurts a lot, which means I know it's going to be a bad one, I have to rush. I have to be quick. And in the process, I had to remember, did I grab everything from the car? Luckily, the few instances I've had since having him, I've had my fiance with me. So I pretty much was able to leave him with my fiance and then still be able to make it to the bathroom. If anybody understands, please let me know. It really does stink. I do not take any medication for it. I deal with the pain. I have quite a few medical issues that I'm trying to get figured out. But due to not having health insurance for many years, has led to not getting these issues solved and being diagnosed. Since high school, I've had like serious shoulder pains. My shoulders are the most sensitive part of my back. So anybody hits me on the shoulder, like they think it's because I have a sunburn. I tend to react to the pain. It hurts. If someone smacks it, even without sunburn. If you smack me square in the shoulders, the nerve endings are very hurtful. So when I had my emergency C-section for my son, the anesthesiologist said they were having a hard time stabbing. They stabbed me. They were trying to put the spinal tap in. I think it was about 15 times. They couldn't get it to numb. It would numb part of me, but it wouldn't numb fully like it needed to from the waist down. If anybody's had C-section, you kind of understand it. For the most part, you're awake during this procedure. If anybody didn't know that, you're awake. You cannot feel it. If they put the spinal tap in right, now I've heard some horror stories that there have been a couple times where the anesthesiologist didn't numb you completely, which I definitely recommend. If you're pregnant, be very vocal about if you're in pain, how much pain you're in. Please don't suffer. Don't go through that. Tell them I'm not numb. I can still feel feelings. With a C-section, you don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel them cutting into you. You don't want to feel them moving stuff around. You don't. I personally, I could see in the light lamp, I could see them doing it. I actually turned my head because I know that's not a good idea for me to see that. You don't want to remember that. You don't want to see that. I could have seen it even though they had a covering over me, so I wouldn't see what they were doing to have for their sterile field. But I could see it through the light lamp in the OR. I'm sorry, I just kicked that. But I chose not to see that. Now my fiance didn't make it in time. I was supposed to go in for my COVID testing for my scheduled C-section. We were going to do schedule, and on the way there, I thought it was Braxton Hicks because when I was standing a lot, because I worked majority of my pregnancy in a warehouse, so I standed on concrete floors majority of it. So even though I was a high-risk pregnancy, I was still able to work. So I would get a lot of back pain, and they weren't any pains I had. They weren't time. I wasn't able to time them. They were too erratic, but it happened the further I got along. So I knew what Braxton Hicks were. I I had looked it up, so I didn't go to the hospital. They didn't tell me it was Braxton Hicks. I pretty much knew based off of people around me and what what the doctors had told me Braxton's hits were. So I kind of knew what to keep an eye out, what to think of. All right, we're gonna do this red dash. Let's see. There we go. So for most part, I knew what to do. I knew what it was. So I thought it was Braxton Hicks on the way there. Warning: if your spouse wants to have sex and you're close to term, it can induce you into labor, which is kind of what happened. We had intercourse that morning. Went to the doctor's. My friend was driving me in. On the way in, they started getting closer together. They're still kind of erratic, so I was just thinking. By the time we got to the doctor's office, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm like, these are awfully close together. Turns out, I was in labor. From the time I started labor and noticed the time around 1 o'clock, I wound up, he was born by 5. The doctor had told me that for gastroschisis, the risks are the same for vaginal to C-section. So those baby mamas who have gastroschisis, make sure you're aware. Ask your OB, ask them what they recommend. But I found out with someone else in the practice because my doctor wasn't on call the day I went in. So I had somebody else, and he told me that the risks are the same because labor is unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. Each labor is different. So not everybody, but my doctor said she said the risks were less for a C-section than it was for natural birth. When he told me his opinion, when I asked, make sure you ask and be adamant, because if you just go with the flow, I'm the type of person, I go with the flow. I don't really mind doing a lot of things. Like my fiance, he'll game, and I diamond paint. Before I diamond paint, I used to play on my phone. Since I diamond paint, I don't really play video games on my phone. I don't play a lot of my Xbox anymore. For the most part, I put YouTube on and as background noise while I'm diamond painting. So for me, this is a stress reliever. It helps keep my mind on while focusing on what I'm doing. So I like it for that. And I love the images. I'm not a big person for paint by numbers. I've been thinking about trying needlepoint. In high school, I had a home ec teacher who told me it was cross stitch. So I found out recently that part of what I learned was cross stitch, and part of what I learned was actually needlepoint. I didn't know that at the time. Until recently, when I started to really research it and look into like what kind. So eventually, I'll probably bring that on the channel. I don't have any kits for cross stitch right now, but I have been thinking about looking into getting 1 or 2, and then like playing with it and seeing what I remember. In high school, I used to be in this club called Rocket Club. I did it as an extracurricular, just something to do while in high school. I wasn't quite at the age where I had a job yet, so I was just doing something just after school, just to stay out of trouble and stuff like that. I wasn't a big troublemaker or anything like that. Um, but when you're making a rocket, you tend to have to sand the inside of the rocket. So let me zoom out for a second. You have to do this a lot. When you're sanding, you're holding the sand and you're inside of a circular. So I developed some slight some carpal tunnel from that. So due to that, um, due to having that, um, it's a little bit harder for me now to with the repetitive. Even when I do some baking, it's repetitive. Um, it kind of stinks, but I work around it. It's really bad when I'm trying to make cookie dough with a whisk, when I'm trying to stir like granola up. Um, Usually I have to have someone help me, or I have to take a break, stretch my hands, rotate my wrists, and then try again. So it's usually stuff like that. Um, but looks like I have blabbed too much. Um, I'm going to continue working on this, but I will let you all go. And if you all like the video, please like, subscribe if you can. If you like content, get do that bell notification if you like to know when I post. Due to being new, I don't know what kind of schedule I'm going to have. I will try to make some more videos when I get a chance. All depends what's going on in our daily life to what I'm able to do. Um, so, hope you all have a nice weekend. Enjoy yourselves. If it's nice out, make sure you drink plenty of water. Um, and stay hydrated. Don't be out in this heat and not be hydrated. You don't need to have a heat stroke. Please don't. Please don't. I hope not. Well, sounds like my kid is waking up. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.